What's up, Clean Everything Off family? Chris Gaines here. Just wanted to go over a couple of brushes, tools of that nature that I use on the interior of a vehicle, and some of the exterior. So when I first started out detailing, I used a microfiber towel. It's all I could afford. It's all I had, and these work great. Folded up into the sections that you need it to. Spray on the towel. Here lately, I just been spraying directly to the towel, not on the actual car itself. I don't want overspray, and I definitely don't want any of that liquid to get inside any of the nooks, crannies, or buttons. So my first ever brush was a microfiber towel, and I use auto drives from Walmart. They are great. They are absolutely amazing. And I get the ones that are in like the towel form that you could just rip right off and call it a day. Now these are good to up to 50 washes, and I use Rags to Riches by P&S to make sure that that actually gets to the 50th wash. But yeah, so if you can't afford any of these brushes that I'm about to show you, then always stick to the tried and true microfiber towel. I would use a two method with this. No matter what I do, I always do two method. So one's to actually wipe in the chemical, one's to actually buff off the chemical. And that's what I do with any of these brushes. I'll apply the chemical with said brushes, and then I'll buff with a microfiber towel. So like regardless, whatever I'm using, I always finish with a microfiber towel. I would say the main ones that you see often in TikTok videos, Facebook videos, and YouTube videos are the soft brushes. It's kind of look like makeup brushes. They're soft brushes. I would use this one specifically for infotainment screens, when you put down the visor and you got to get the little visor up top, the rear view mirror, or if the car is more of a maintenance wash and doesn't require a lot of scrubbing, a lot of elbow grease, I'll stick with this brush. Super soft. Love these. Again, this is Auto Drive at Walmart. Now, the rag company has much better quality ones, but for my purposes, the Auto Drive ones from Walmart works amazing. I would say this brush is absolutely amazing too. So this is more of the firm. You see these a lot in TikTok videos, Facebook videos, YouTube videos. They're the super like black colored ones with the red tip right here with the black stem. This is more for generalized elbow grease. So this is going to be your firm brush. As you can see right here, super soft. My hand can go right into it. Like, it's kind of, this is the generalized scrubbing tool of the brushes. It's strong enough to where if I'm applying certain pressure, whatever's stuck inside that panel, it's coming out. So that's why I like these. And I always go for the thinner style brushes just so I can get into the nooks and crannies of doors. These are great to use when you're trying to do the door crevices, just anything stuck onto that panel. The more firm ones, great to use. Now, when I'm trying to get out the nooks and crannies, though, I'll use an actual, microfiber toothpick, which I'll get into that in a second. And then I use these all the time. My tried and true. This is a boar's hair brush. It's the middle of the road. I use these a lot when I shampoo seats. When I am, it's a slightly dirty car, but not to the point where it's kind of clean like a maintenance wash, or it's filthy. If it's filthy, I'm grabbing the more firmer brush and scrubbing away. If it's super light maintenance clean, I'm grabbing the softer. And then for all generalized purposes, I'm grabbing the boar's hair brush. These things just work great. They really do get into the nooks and crannies. It's a good in-between brush, and I suggest every detailer or weekend warrior or enthusiast have one on hand. Also for the interior, you have the ever so popular Scrub Ninja. It's a microfiber on the back or front, and then you flip it over and you have a nylon bristle side. These things are great because I don't want to spend, especially for the dash, I don't want to spend X amount of hours scrub in tiny motions, when I can take this bad boy and do sweeping motions just like this. It works all over the place. I use this on dashes, steering wheel. I'll even use it on the infotainment center and just pop, 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 pop. Not the screen though. But for like button areas, these very thin nylon little prick things, these work great. I use this on center consoles, any flat surfaces that I can make long sweeping passes with I use it. Now, one thing that I've stopped using this for, this is more for generalized purposes. So, like if the car's fairly new or it's not as dirty as one would expect, or if it's middle of the road, I would go for my Scrub Ninja. However, being a mobile detailer, time is of the essence. So regardless for me, I now gravitate toward non-scratching scour pads. This is 3M, and you'll have to forgive the cut up. I was doing something with a project, but these are non-scratching. Now they do make heavy duty ones, and disclaimer, only get the blue non-scratching, and only use this if you know what you're doing. This does not harm the plastics, the vinyls, the rubbers. So if you get the scratch pads, the scouring pads that actually scratch, that's going to be abrasive and can definitely scratch the vinyls, rubbers, and the plastics. So I spring for the non-scratch blue. You can get these at Lowe's, Home Depot, but it's the same situation as these, but it's roughly the same size, if not bigger. You have, obviously, again, it's much bigger. Both sides have like this sponge texture, so I could just spray, and then steering wheel, everything. Just the door panels, like where the seatbelt is, like that panel. These work great. If you're having to get into the seat that's right next to the plastics, you can literally take it, get in there, and scrub away at the seat to help you with getting that stain out. This is a little chunky. This is like thin. I love this tool. This is a general purpose tool that I use it almost over using these. So like when it comes to these three brushes, again, this is generalized, super firm, middle of the road boar's hair, and then the soft makeup style one. I only use these again for like infotainment situations, wheels, rims, door crevices, trying to get in nooks and crannies, and same situation. This could be used interior or exterior. These are great tools, but to move faster, I've learned to just stick with this. Even much so more over this. A great inside tool that I use is when I'm doing dressings. I use these products. So this is a microfiber applicator pad, and it comes with a little hand tool. These are great on seats, but more so like the cheaper seats that you could just make passes over, and it's not gonna be. I would say microfiber pads, their microfibers tend to get stuck in the holes of the seat. So I try my best to only use these for applying dressings, unless I absolutely don't have any of these on hand. Now this one is Meguiar's, this one is Griot's. So I love these. Microfiber, foam. Foam works amazing when applying your vinyls, rubber, and plastic dressings. Super easy, absorbent, just pop, 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 pop. And then again, once you're done, buff off with your microfiber towel. I keep my microfiber towels damp a little bit to help with the buff off of putting on the protectants in the car. Makes just for easy use. Love these. I would prefer foam over microfiber, but these things are great. If you're going to use microfiber, especially these, and these are on Amazon, super cheap, I use these to help apply tire shine. So that way, you just put it on the back of your hand and you go across the whole wheel and put that dressing on. Easy peasy. Now, another inside brush that I frequently use is if I'm dry shampooing and I know that I'm trying to keep everything surface level. And this comes to carpets and seats. Now, if you get things, we're a professional detail company. We do extract, and extracting just means that you are sucking out the oils, the grease, the grime, the skin cells, the whatever out of the foam from the seats and the out of the depths of the carpet for a much more sanitized clean. Now, the problem is when you use an extractor, you have to inject at a high pressure water into that area, and then the vacuum sucks it right back out to get all of that stuff out. But sometimes that can mean, like, especially if it's not a sunny day, dry times will vary. I don't want to do a detail where someone has to then leave and then, the seats are soaking wet or the floor is a little bit damp. I don't want that. So sometimes I will dry shampoo, which means I am only going to do agitation on the top layer, and I'm only going to remove the dirt and the grime off the top layer of said area, and that's when I'll pull out this nylon, very firm brush. This thing is great, especially on the floors. Not only is this thing great when scrubbing seats, scrubbing the floors, this is what I use sometimes to make those lines in the carpet. But yes, I prefer this when I really don't want to do the whole, you know, uh, um, deep extraction. So, great tool. This tool also works great if you are scrubbing rubber. So I'll use this brush on the floor mats, the WeatherTech floor mats, and I'll also use this brush on the rubber tires. It's a great tool. Okay, so for exterior, these are the two brushes that I like, small brushes that I use. So for the most part, to get into the nooks and crannies of the wheels, and like especially the lug nut area, I'm going to use not this size. I actually use a lot smaller size, but this is boar's hair again, as stated previously, and I'm going to use this on the tire. These things, middle of the ground, great. It's not going to scratch any form of rim. It's great. I use that, and then this is super firm. I use this to get out the rust and the stuck on, like, sometimes you look at a rim, you see orange, black, dark gray sometimes, and you could shampoo the rim and it still doesn't come up because you're using your board hairs brush, or even your generalized brush. See all of those contaminants on the wheel and nothing's working. You pull out this thing, and this is again all on Amazon, and this thing works miracles. I just apply a little bit of pressure. It's very abrasive. Scrub, comes right out every time. And like that, I use a dual-purpose Adams Polishes brush. So this one's seen a lot of wear and tear in its day, but I love this because if I'm in a pinch, this super hard bristle right here is for the tires, and then you flip it over, and bam, you can now do the face of the rims. Now, I have seen people say, "Oh, it pull," these things, they pop out, they pull out, everything like that. If you're going to use this side for the tires, for the actual rubber part of the wheel, I wouldn't suggest it, only because it does do it justice, but you are going to be left behind with these little tiny little hair pieces that you're going to have to pressure wash off. That's why it's recommended to use the much more harder bristle side on the tire and the much more softer on the rim. But again, you could just, if you have a brush that only has this side, it works just as well. And the one thing I love about this is, look at that. It's a dedicated thumb thing, man. Like, there's one right here on this side, and then there's one right here for when I'm doing, see what I'm saying? I love that. Adams Polishes did a wonderful job, and the handle is long down here, and I like the fact that it's rubberized. That's cool. So again, rough side tire, hit it soft side with the wheel, like the face of the rims. Hit the lug nuts with this, And I'm going to get into what I use this for. So then we get to the part where it's this bad boy. So this is a well and bowl, like, you know, like the other side of the rim cleaner. And this works great. It's great, you know, you spray it down, you spray the rim, you get into those spokes. And also this works wonders when, let's say you have the wheel well and you're just scrub. It works great. So I use this, love this all the time. Another thing is, it is large. It's large. So I need something smaller that there are more low profile wheels where the calipers only leave this much space, and it's really hard for this thing to get into the spokes and get the bowl clean. What I do is this thing right here, it's got the same texture as I would say a toilet bowl brush. It's pretty firm, but that's what I like about it, because sometimes the dirt is caked on. So I will slip, and it, you know, this thing could be, I would slip this right through those spokes and go around the rim, and it works great. And it's got a long enough, it's got a rubberized handle right here. You know, I can grip it and actually get in there. And this could be used even on the wheel wells. So this is a nice little backup for when the wheel is low profile, or even some of them bigger tires where you only have this much space and you can't necessarily get the bucket or the bowl of the back end of the tire. And another thing why I like these brushes is because this little hidden tool, this little hidden gem, little wiring tool, that if you really want to get to the nooks and crannies of the lug nuts, you can just scrub. You know what I'm saying? You can do that with this perfect little hideaway tool. And that's what I use this tool on. Now, once the tire is done cleaning, I am then going to dress the tire. Now, doesn't matter what dressing you use. I use aerosol can dressings because it's super simple to just spray twice around and then rub in with an ultra plush either applicator pad. Now again, like I've done dressings with this pad, and I find that so much more fun and easier just to take this after you use the aerosol can and go around. And for the most part, I'll buff it even yet again with a microfiber towel, so that way it knocks off some of that gloss, as well as go ahead and remove the sling that may come on the car before, you know, someone drives off and it just splatters everywhere. So that's what I love about this brush in particular. This thing works great. And something I failed to talk about earlier is when getting into the nooks and crannies of the car, I like to opt for these little microfiber toothpicks. Now, there is a side of the toothpick that is soft and plush, and then you have a hard side as well to get, you know, just in the nooks and crannies. These things work great. I buy them by the 200 case, and they really do help with things like plucking the holes of your perforated leather, getting in between the buttons and cracks of your infotainment center, the shifter, and the little buttons and the emblems on the steering wheel. These are like, if you're a professional, you have these on hand. Another thing I use is for the vents. I'll take 2 per vent, and these things are super foamy, so I'll spray it with all-purpose cleaner, really start scrubbing and getting in all the vents, and then mopping it up with a second one, and then proceeding to steam the vents, because that's what we do in our complete detail, which is we steam and sanitize the vents. So that is it, guys. That's all the brushes that I use in my details. Thank you so much for sticking around, and I'm probably gonna make more videos like these. Much love. God bless.